Okay, today we are looking at the Jakks Pacific Deluxe Van Helsing Monster Slayer figures from 2004. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole about a year ago when I found one of the single-packed figures at a flea market for fairly cheap, so I looked into them and found that you could get most of these for actually pretty darn cheap, and I ended up picking them up because they looked fairly decent. Like, for 2004 action figure standards, they had a lot of articulation. The sculpts were, they weren't doing the great computer facial scans that they have today, so the sculpts aren't great, but they still looked like, the actors who were doing them. So I was like, heck, I'll pick them up, I'll give them a try. And I like the single figures, they were a lot of fun. I had opened those up already, but I wanted to save these deluxe figures for a video. And I can already tell you, it looks like it's a lot of repacks and a lot of same characters over and over again, but we're still going to open them up, take a look at them, and I'll tell you what I think. And here we have the Deluxe Van Helsing Monster Slayer figures. And it's kind of a mixed bag. Some are better than others. I honestly think the worst is probably this Van Helsing with the light up tower. One, as you can see, this thing doesn't light up at all. This green light is, I don't know, maybe it's old. I mean, these are almost 20-year-old figures now at this point. So the electronics in it could be not as good as they were originally. But if that's how it originally was supposed to light up, then that is pretty pitiful. Also, couldn't get these wires to really connect right to how they're supposed to, so now they're just kind of loose wires for one of them. Doesn't really connect well to the base. It's just kind of a lame thing. I mean, Van Helsing doesn't really interact with it that well, so it's kind of, pretty meh. He doesn't come with any accessories. It's the exact same Van Helsing as the one with the grapple hook, just without the grapple hook and the hat and the scarf. And these Van Helsings are also the exact same figures as paired with the single carded figures, just with a little bit different paint. I think these have green pants, the other ones have black pants. This one's hat doesn't fit as well as the single one, so for some reason they changed the hat. And the face scarf actually fits better on this one. The other one started rubbing black paint onto the face of the single carded figure. So out of the two Van Helsing Deluxe figures, I do like this one. The play feature works fine. He zips up and down just fine. He kind of lets go of the gun if it goes too fast though, so that's not great. But one thing that I think all of these kind of do that have it is it's got a great, not actual pulley system. Same thing with this one. Like, this looks like it's got a bunch of gears that make this thing go up and down, but it's actually a simple mechanism, but it's disguised really well. Same with this one. Of course, this is the exact same one as the one with Frankenstein's monster. But it does a good job of incorporating the play movability features into something that looks like it's actually real and functioning. Also, the detail on this coffin was really great. I was so impressed when I was actually opening it up. It's got a lot of intricacy to it. I was very surprised. The pop-up feature isn't that great. He doesn't go very high. He kind of more like pops over the edge just to see what's going on. So I imagine that's why they didn't include like an ice piece to cover it, because he would just he just doesn't have the oomph to burst through it. It would have been cooler if he had a little bit more power and, like I said, like that ice block to go over, so that way he could bust up like he does in the movie, but it is what it is. This Dracula is also the exact same Dracula that comes with the single carded figure. I think the only difference is maybe the ponytail's a little farther out, so that way he fits with the mechanism. Otherwise, exact same guy. The Frankenstein encased in the ice does happen in the movie, but he doesn't bust through it like the play feature does. It works decently well, actually. He can bust through it fairly well. He's going to fall over immediately after he does it, but otherwise, the pieces come apart fairly well. The Velkan figure is also kind of meh. It is the exact same pod as that comes with the Frankenstein figure. I'm not sure exactly which came first. I think it was the Velkan. And this is, of course, the exact same figure as came with the single-carded version as well, that came with like a werewolf skin that he could go inside of and then couldn't even stand up. He's got a lot of articulation for a figure from that old. Doesn't quite look like the actor. In fact, I think you could kind of swap him out between the actor who plays Velkan and Hugh Jackman, because they kind of look pretty close to exactly the same with that facial sculpt and that hair. And since they both run around in their shorts at some point when they after they turn back from being werewolves, then, it could be either or. The Frankenstein monsters are the same figure, same articulation, just recolored. This is different from the single-carded figure because these ones do not have the removable brain. They also don't have the play feature that there was a little switch on the back where he could swing his arms back and forth. These ones don't. So I kind of like these ones a little bit better. The facial sculpt I don't think is as good, but he's more solid. The play feature, though, worked fine. I think this one's probably my favorite out of all of them. That and this Van Helsing, just because this figure works with this accessory well. And then same with this Van Helsing. He works well with this feature, even though the hat doesn't stay on very well. I think overall it's a fun figure and a fun play feature. And all of these are supposed to connect with the not so cheap Van Helsing castle. Kind of wish I had gotten one, but there just wasn't one that was in a really great price, so I didn't pull the trigger on it, so not going to be able to see them attached in this video. Maybe one day I'll follow up on my Instagram with them all put together, but that means I need a bigger room with a shelf dedicated to just these Van Helsing figures. So, are these figures worth getting? I mean, some of these you can find for less than 10 bucks. And if you love the movie, they're not bad figures. They're fun monster figures if you like, Frankenstein, Van Helsing, Dracula, those kind of things. So they're fun in that regard. So yeah, they're fun. I'm kind of glad I took the time to track them all down and unbox them. Not a bad little run of them. You can probably pass on the lighting tower, except I kind of want to know if one of them works better. So if you got one of these and it lights up better, let me know in the comments, because it was almost laughable how bad it was. All right, for my next build, it's another video I recorded like 6 months ago. So this is obviously an empty box with how light I can move it. But we are going to put together the Sanctum Sanctorum, the modular version they released. This is a really interesting build. I look forward to talking to you guys about it. So that'll be next time. Until then, stay safe. Happy hunting.